there aren't, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. And so it stands to reason that the ups and the downs, I try to find some middle ground. Now, in the moment during games, I'm just like anybody else that's a fan of a team. I'm cheering and all that. And unless I have to do work in game, I'm subject to the whims of emotion like every fan in any game watching their team play. But afterwards, I'm always very measured because I want to go back and see if what I thought I saw is true, because oftentimes it's not. You see something, you get caught up in a series or a play or a moment, and you kind of misremember, as Roger Clemens would say, exactly what the down and distance and clock were at and the score and all. So you want to go back, like, did I have that right? Was that 2nd and 10 or was that 1st and 10? Yeah, and that kind of stuff. So you go back and you do it. And when you do that, typically what happens is you find that some of the things you suspected that led to your anger aren't true. That it either was a play that was made by somebody else just physically whipping another player, or it was, the right call, just not executed, whatever it might be, right? Not this time, man. This time I'm mad. I'm still mad. I'm still frustrated is a better way of saying it. I don't know about mad. I'm still very frustrated because they found a way to lose this football game. And the opportunities were all around them. They should be 5-1 right now. We should be talking about game day, having decided to cover Tennessee, Alabama, battle of 2 top 10 teams, great, and how we're kind of angry that they didn't come here. Because, man, what a game this is going to be Saturday night with everything at stake. This could be the end of the Clemson run. We should be talking about it that way, but we can't because we're not. Because Florida State's lost 2 straight, and this one didn't have to be that way. And there's a lot of blame to go around. A lot of blame to go around. There's plenty of things you could point to that frustrates you about maybe the way Mike handled certain situations. Jordan didn't have a good game again. He was betrayed repeatedly by his receivers. Just a lot of things in this game. Officials pissed you off in this game too, and that's fair to note. It's not the reason we lost, but it certainly didn't help. A lot of things that add up to immense frustration having lost this game. Now, obviously, if you just want to be, you want to simplify things, if you don't score a point in the second half and you amass 93 yards, it's a bad day at the office. That's a horrible half. In that same half, if you turn it over twice and you only possess the ball for 9 minutes and you're 1 of 5 on 3rd down and you drop more passes and you commit 7 penalties for 75 yards in the half, yes, it's going to add up to a loss like this one did. But there are other things beyond just the numbers that frustrate me here. I thought they lost composure. Jordan's body language was bad. That's not the first time this year. I need him to get that under control. I wasn't surprised that Mike was asked about it today, and he did answer it. Yeah, man, that can't happen. It's true that the quarterback position is separate from everybody else, and all of the leadership qualities that are necessary of that position fall on you, and that's why you get all the praise when things go well, and it's why you get too much blame when things go poorly. But you got to check that with your body language and your emotions after frustration sets in. It's easier said than done, I'm sure, but I didn't like that. I thought I wanted to go back and look, Tom, yesterday to see. So there's some things here. I think that because they got the looks that they wanted in the first half, and there are so many plays that could have gone for big numbers here. You've got guys falling down, getting foot tackled on the one with Benson. I mean, that play is, you said it in real time. I went back and looked at it again. I'm like, that is there. He's still running right now if he stays on his feet. You got everything you wanted out of the counter. You got outside zone that worked. Really, all of the runs that you dialed up in the first half are there for you. There's a couple plays where guys just make plays. I mean, 32 is a stud linebacker, and he's the best player on the field the whole game. But other than that, the looks, Robert Scott was really good in his return. He had a great game, by the way. He was very, very good. So it's all there, and you should have a bigger lead than 17-3 at half. You should be up significantly more if you catch the ball. You have a touchdown drop by Malik McClain. You have some things that happen where you could have had a bigger lead. But regardless, you got what you wanted from your game plan, and you executed it fairly well. You left some points out there, but you know, in terms of the run game, we were worried they wouldn't be able to run against this 3-3-5 look because very few teams have had a lot of success running against NC State. Their defensive line's physical. Those are tough guys to block. We're banged up on the offensive line. We're not great on the offensive line. I thought, well, that could be a long day trying to run the ball, but they got what they wanted with it, and they should have had a little bit more. And I think that's why in the second half, they thought, okay, well, not a lot to change here. We're successful. Make NC State make adjustments, and then we'll adjust and see what happens. People will talk about, well, how come you didn't adjust at halftime? Well, because everything was working. They had to do the adjusting. NC State was having a problem stopping FSU, not the other way around. Florida State was stopping NC State. So they're going to make adjustments. You're going to see what some of those subtle shifts are, what they do, their run stacks, those kinds of things. What are they going to do, right? So NC State rightfully said, well, this can't work. We can't have them still being able to just run the ball. We're going to have to dare them to throw it. We're going to have to make them beat us throwing the football. And I don't know that we were so quick to adjust to that. I think because we had success running, they wanted to continue to run. And so we talk a lot, you and I do, about giving your quarterback a chance to succeed and having him throw the ball when a defense has no leverage. So throwing on first down is a big deal. Throwing on first down a lot of times is the answer to the question of having the numbers and having the opportunity to win matchups. You're not behind the chains in that situation. Any defenses have to be honest. And, nearly 70% of the choices on first down in the second half were runs. And then what you end up having is second and long. Now, not all of them were that way. And there were times that we did throw and guys dropped the ball or we didn't execute. But, buddy, I just thought we were slow to react to what NC State decided to do, which was to, I think, from when you go back and watch, their whole goal was we can't get beat letting Florida State run the ball. They're just gashing us.
Yeah, there were some instances pre-snap where there's 6 men in the box, but there's a lingering 7th who's just waiting, and they're teeing off at the snap and getting downhill.
Yes.
So, there's a difference between playing passive post-snap with a 6-man front, or 3-3, whatever, however you want to word it, and then selling out against it. And they were selling out and assuming that this is exactly what was going to happen. They did a good job of covering the Jordan option on a zone read look. There were some times, I think there was a pass that we had as an option off of the play and didn't make the throw.
Yeah.
But that's also because the drops at that point, you say, I'd rather go with this. So I think it was feeding into each other. And when you go 3 and out a bunch of times, then you're going to hyper-focus on one play a lot because you only had 3 of them before you punt. And in truth, man, it was 3 turnovers that half because the Mastromanno play essentially is a turnover because it's spotted where he crosses the line of scrimmage.
And your defense
-5.
And your defense does such a good job there and continue to do such a good job despite being put in a terrible position repeatedly by this offense.
They are not the reason. I get that we're all frustrated by 2 first drives in the second half that look way too easy. But, I mean, if you're going to list who is to blame.
Oh, defense is way down the list.
10th, 12th.
Yeah, no,
they're way down the list. They were outstanding, and they were banged up in the game and still fought through it. And if you think about it with turnovers and short fields, they gave up 13 legitimate points in the game.
They were fine. The defense is not the problem. It's not even a subject. It's not even worth talking about. The defense is fine. They played very well. Florida State in the first half averaged over 8 yards per play. They were doing whatever they wanted to do. The Noles could do pretty much what they wanted. Now, that's aided with a long run. I got you.
Yeah.
But that's part of your arsenal. We wanted them to incorporate, so that's fine. That counts. You set it up. He waited. Okay, you're gonna bite on this every time? Peace. That's part of what you should be doing. That's proper offensive play calling. That's scheme. That's setting it up. So it's not a fluke. It does count. It is a big play. Your quarterback is that guy. He can do that. Very few others can. So that's why it should be. We were 4 of 8 on third down in the first half. We were fine.
With drops.
With drops. That's right. With drops. We had almost 300 yards in the first half. There's everything about the game plan, their mindset, everything was right going up there. They had total control of this game. NC State wanted to quit. They wanted to go home. This game was over.
Yeah, one little thing I'd say about that is in the beginning, they Jordan didn't know what he was looking at for the first couple of drives.
And we talked about that during the live watch along. Yeah.
Just prior to hitting Malik in the corner of the end zone on that drop, he had figured it out. And then it was, set it and forget it.
Oh, yeah.
From that point forward until the pressure was starting to ratchet up in the second half.
But that's so normal when you're on the road in that environment. It gets a weird look. You don't see a lot of this. And so I wasn't surprised. We talked going into the game, the adjustment period in the first quarter of a game like this. Can your defense keep you in it until you figure it out? We knew that was going to happen because of this, one, NC State's good on defense. Two, it's a big game for them. They needed to be locked in, and they were going to play hard and play physical. That's what so I figured we'd see a little adjustment period, but they adjusted pretty quickly and really dominated the half.
Yeah, the frustrating thing is if before the game kicked off, you were promised that you would have the ball down 2 with 4 minutes to go, I think most people would sign up for that situation saying, really? So the ball's in Jordan Travis' hands.
Yeah.
We're down 2 with a chance to win the football game and walk it off.
Yeah.
You take that before the game, but then you watch it and you say, this is nonsense.
Wins and losses happen for a reason, and those reasons elicit emotion. And this is true of a 4-2 start. It's true of the bigger picture.
Well, and it's not just the emotions, it's the facts. I mean, you are Harry Houdiniing your way into a loss on Saturday, and you succeeded amazingly.
If you think about 294 yards in the first half, NC State's defense holds the Noles to 93 yards and 5 first downs over the final 30 minutes of the game. 4 of the 5 first downs and 65 of the 93 yards that Florida State amasses in the second half come on the final drive. Outside of the final drive, 65 of the 93 yards for that entire 30 minutes of a half happened on that drive. That, obviously.
Right. And
we're talking about 28 yards.
And you would
28 yards for a half?
Yeah, you would return to the broadcast when they had put the live watch along, when they put that up on the screen at 28, but you factor in the penalty yardage, and it's basically 3, because you got the post whistle on sportsmanlike conduct, you got the Mastromano penalty, and you got a hold. So, that's actually about 3 yards that you're racking up over the course of 4 drives.
Yeah. I'm not mad about to address everything here in the opening segment's kind of hard, but when you lose a game where guys are dropping like flies and they're playing with a lot of heart and you've built a big lead and you've kind of figured out some things, you've injured the other team's quarterback on a completely legit hit, by the way, and screw them for throwing that flag. But anyhow, bottom line is you knocked the quarterback out of the game, and I hope he's okay. But this kid that they brought in, clearly they didn't trust for as far as they could throw him. They wouldn't let him attempt to pass. They were like, well, we're screwed here. And you still lose the game. That adds to your frustration. You figure, too, that, down the stretch there, you are doing kind of what you want in that situation. You probably could have used one of your 3 timeouts there to make sure everybody's on the same page before we conduct the plays down inside the 30 here. You've got the time to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care.
The interception comes off of a timeout, just an NC State one.
It's an NC State timeout. Yeah. I want to be sure that everybody's on the same page, of course. Yeah. Also, by the way, you can, in that situation, you can attack the middle of the field. You can run. You can do anything you want to do.
Well,
I'm okay. You got to play for the touchdown. You're not playing for a last-second field goal. And I know that we play the results game because he throws an interception. Why didn't we kick a field goal? Because, look, man, that kid's been awful. He's been awful all year. Good for him. He made a field goal. I mean, it says something about the fact that we were all shocked that he made it, and we're celebrating at that fact. That's how bad he's been. I'm not playing for a field goal. I'm playing to win the game. I'm playing for a touchdown.
I agree, but the other thing that's important to point out is just because Jordan threw it to Micah on that play doesn't mean he's the only read. And in fact, when you hear Coach Norvell in the press conference say there are 5 options on that play, I'm taking that as I don't know why he needed to go for the end zone shot there.
Yeah.
The leverage at the time he makes the decision does suggest that cover defensive back, I don't know if he's a safety or corner, is inside Pittman. Yeah. And then he does some sort of moonwalking steps that's just crazy. They engage. Mike is not thrilled about that. He wants pass interference on that play. Clearly in the press conference after the game, too, he was fired up thinking that he's impeding the receiver. But that doesn't mean that you have to take the end zone shot there given score and situation. The amount of time on the clock, it's 2nd and 9. You have underneath routes on that play.
We're in a 3-by-1, aren't we? In that situation?
I think they're empty, but no, you're right. No.
I think they're in a 3-by-1.
3-1 and 1-2 is right. Yeah. And so a lot of things are covered, but you got Johnny on a slant over the middle.
Yeah.
But he never looks there. It has been determined before the snap that we're going to take a shot there in the end zone, and that's the problem.
By him.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, too.
Mike Norvell isn't dialing up a play on 2nd and 9 saying we must throw to the end zone
That's the point there. Jordan didn't have a great game in the second half. I think he rat-trapped a little and grew frustrated, hence the body language. Yes, I'd be mad, too, if every time I throw a crucial pass, somebody drops it. I mean, that does suck, and that we picked the wrong time to have everybody dropping passes. Johnny dropped 2. You had the one pokey, which is, I mean, Jesus, you can't drop that ball on 3rd down. Obviously, the McLean touchdown that he drops. You have a lot of drop passes. Tight end drop 2. You had any number of plays that you've got to make and you win this game. And this is, again, putting it all on the table. Why today I'm still frustrated because this was there for the taking. Florida State, that NC State team has got real problems, and now they really have problems with Leary out, but they've got problems. Now, I like some of that defensive personnel. They're tough and they're physical, and that's why they've played good defense for the most part this year. They got real problems on offense, and their offensive line's got some issues. All of that's true. We'll see what they become. I don't really care. We had this game, and you lose this game, and I really hope like hell you can put it behind you. You can put it in the rear view and get up for a game on Saturday night that you have a chance to be in the second half and make interesting. We'll see if you can win it. It's a tough one. You could see it on Mike's face in the post game. He knows they let one get away. He knows that he could have done things better. Jordan could have done things better. Clearly, the receivers could have caught the damn ball. You have so much that you got to be mad about, and it's tough to flush it.
Yeah, it is. It's different than the Wake Forest game. You know,
much different.
You can argue about the Wake Forest game that if you execute in this situation or that situation, you talked about 5 straight empty possessions and 6 out of 7,
they did
whatever
it again,
it is.
by the way, in the second half with those empty possessions. We're going on some stretches here.
That's correct. And you look at all those things and say, man, if you just make a couple more of these plays, you're in it. But also independent of what we're talking about from a Florida State perspective, Wake made plays.
Yeah.
Wake Forest made plays.
I
think
Wake's
game.
a better team across the board. Wake's better than Florida State. Wake is better than NC State.
I agree.
Period.
In this game, it's much, much different. You're playing from in front for a reason. You're not fluky ahead 17-3.
You could have been
it's fluky that it's only 17-3.
It should have been a lot worse. And again, this is a lesson in learning how to win and executing when you've got a team down, putting a game away, stepping on the neck of an opponent. They're wounded. They're hurting. You're doing what you want to do. They're frustrated, and you let them hang around. And we know what happens. It's weird. All of a sudden, that opening drive of the second half wakes everybody up. It wakes NC State's players up. The fans get into it. Now you've got to answer. And when you are impotent in the entirety of the second half, you're asking to get beat. Now, I know nobody goes out there with the intent to be awful after having been great for a half, but this is why you're paid handsomely. This is also on the players. I mean, there were plenty of plays to be made there. Doesn't have. Listen, is it Norvell's fault that Dylan Gibbons takes us from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 16 because he can't control his emotions and he's played football for 50 years at this point? I mean, that's ridiculous, right? That's not his fault. But collectively, when you see these things begin to happen, you do wonder if the descriptors I hear frequently over the last 2 weeks by many is that they're pressing. I don't know why. You're not a national championship contender. You're not a playoff contender. What are you pressing for? You're just trying to be better this year than you were last. You already are better this year than you were last. Go take what's yours. All that hard work, go get it, man. What are you pressing for? Nobody around here expects you to win 10 games. This isn't a season where you have national championship aspirations and that you're stepping onto the field with the weight of expectations of 80,000 every Saturday thinking you're going to win the whole thing. No, man. Most of us want to see 7-8 wins. Go reward yourself for all that hard work and dedication and buy-in. If they're pressing, that's something wrong there. Mike needs to figure that out. I don't know if that comes from the top down or what that is. I don't like that description because I don't know if it's true, first of all, but there seem to be indicators that perhaps it is.
Well, yeah, when you're the attacker, think about it. In the Wake Forest game, there is more pressure on you because you're ranked and it's happening fast. A lot of good things are happening to you fast, things you've never experienced before, certainly if you've been a part of this program for a few years. You're down 28-7 after the first drive in the third quarter and you play loose. In this game against NC State, a little confused to start, but you're playing well and you play loose. Then you're up. Inverted. It's inverted from the Wake Forest game. And now there's pressure on you. You've got to be able to handle that. Good things happen because of your hard work. They're not a burden.
No, you're not burdened
They're
by
a
your
luxury.
own success. That's right. You're not a victim of your own success. I don't think they lost because they pressed. They lost because they didn't execute. I mean, coaches say that all the time, and it's cliche, but it's true. I mean, if I throw you a ball on 4th and 3 and hit you in the chest to convert and get a first down and continue to move the ball, then I need you to catch the ball.
Yeah.
On 3rd and 7, if I hit you in the chest in the middle of the field on a dart, I'm going to need you to catch the ball. That's execution.
We had a caller in the postgame show, and I said, how would you assign your blame? And he said 70% on the players, 30 on the coaches. I think that's about fair.
Yeah, I'm mad at the players today more than I am the coaches, sure.
You said something for a long time in this transition with Willie first and then with Mike. You can do all of these things and put yourself in a position, but then sometimes you need something good to happen for you in order for you to believe and then grow in confidence in a way that's more than just a practice. Well, that was the extra point for LSU.
Yes.
That's the good thing to happen to you. From that point on, it's not we have to wait around for something good to happen, somebody else to make a mistake.
It did happen.
Right. You're in the position. The ball is coming to you. You catch the football. Those types of things. We've graduated from what you're talking about before to now go make the damn play. You've had the good thing happen to you. It's been proven. Now go do it. It's on you. And so many guys didn't do it at different situations on Saturday.
You're losing close, and when there are expectations, the losses hurt more. And so collectively, you'll get the vitriol from a fan base that's stung by the agony of defeat, as they say. And I get that. It doesn't derail the obvious signs of progress. It is also fair to criticize. All these things can be true simultaneously. It'll be interesting to see how they handle this week. It's really, at least from our standpoint of reporting and trying to provide context on the show for what we're seeing as best we can. This is a race to find out who's healthy and who's not. How healthy is Florida State going into this game against Clemson? Because it means everything. If you don't have look how exhausted they were late in this game when NC State decides to run the ball because all our guys are dropping like flies and your rotation of defensive linemen are nil at the end of the
field
game.
for 20 minutes and a half. It's ridiculous.
So they're tired, right? And you're losing guys. So now guys are playing extended snaps that aren't typically asked to do that. And this is important.
That's where I'm mad today. We should be bragging about Patrick Payton. We should be bragging about Josh Farmer making a play that's clean and it's a great hit on the quarterback in a situation where, they've got some momentum now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's quell the momentum. We should be talking about those guys making big time plays. And we can't. We can't because we can't get a first down before our final drive of the second half.
Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Gee, honey, I'm not gonna lie. Our front yard is looking sad. Don't you think it's time for some TLJ?
I'm pretty sure you mean TLC, and I don't have time for all that work.
No, I'm talking about some TLJ, like in the radio commercials. Give your yard some TLJ from the Lawn Johns.
For all your lawn care and landscaping needs, give your yard the TLC it deserves with some TLJ. Call the Lawn Johns today for a free quote at 322-2567 or visit thelawnjohns.com.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers Advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers Advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced, and while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and thank me later.
Over 50 years ago, when Paul Nicholson founded Paul's Termite and Pest Control, he had one goal in mind: provide the best service possible to his neighbors so they felt like family. Your problem was his problem, so today it's our problem. Paul's service area is our home. It's where our kids go to school, where we shop, and where we get involved, community organizations. So if some out-of-town company knocks on your door and begins pressuring you to sign an agreement for termite or pest control, you can bet on a few things. Number one, you'll never see that person again. Number two, your technician is likely to change often. And number three, your money will not stay in North Florida. These companies are sending your money to home offices in Atlanta, Orlando, Salt Lake City, or even Great Britain. Paul's Termite and Pest Control knows local means something to you. The health of your Tallahassee home, family, and pets is our number one priority. For the elimination of termites and pests and a greener lawn too, call your local company with local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. T-SparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jammin' Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Bravo to Adam Fuller in this defense. Again, we can easily get mired in the problems of the offense, which I think has cost the team the game 2 weeks in a row is the offense. But this is a defense that's playing better, that is giving themselves a chance. They played well in this game. Now, this has not been a good NC State offense. It has not been the year that they thought they were going to have, but good. You didn't aid their endeavor. You did a good job of shutting it down the way a lot of teams have. And Florida State was in position. I thought they were, Mike brought it up today. He was right. They were very physical in this game. Florida State was, I thought they met the challenge there. It's just your offense let you down.
Yeah, the look in Devin Leary's eyes well before he got hurt was somebody who didn't want to be there or wasn't comfortable with what he was seeing. And it's nice also to see that in some moments when he had plenty of time, the coverage held up well enough on the back end. I get that they don't have the weapons of an LSU or a Wake Forest in terms of skill at the receiver position, but we weren't sure who we could cover. I mean, the pregame show, we were talking about how Omarion was sitting and Jarion Jones appeared to start. Omarion got some run in this game, obviously. But whatever the combination was, did well enough that you had 3 or 4 coverage plays at minimum in the first half where you say, that must be really good by the back 7. So that's noteworthy.
It's exciting because if that gets better, then obviously you can get to where you're trying to go this year. That was something we worried about as the year progressed. We wondered, could you get to a point where you trusted the defense? And I'm not saying that this is an elite defense. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I don't think it is. But it can be good. It can be pretty good. You know, it's not dominant yet. They don't have the requisite depth to be a dominant defense. Your dominant defense is give guys proper amounts of rest, and the replacement level player is also a good player. That's how you end up with a dominant defense. We don't have that because we don't have the buildup in recruiting to the point now where you can just bring a guy out and this other guy's far enough along or he's of an elite talent that he can step in and play. But we're getting there. We're getting there. You see it in certain positions. You're starting to see it. Let's hope that continues. So one of the ways that you aid that endeavor is to have a good season and do well in recruiting. And this is why, you know, obviously you gotta find a way to buckle up. Now, we said going into this stretch, you weren't destined to lose 3 games in a row, but it was a distinct possibility. And you're staring it in the face now. And even if it happens, you still have an opportunity to go out and win 4 more games. So, you know, you can get to where you want to go, which most of us agreed would be some sort of combination of wins that got you to 8. And if that happens, it's not a bad year. It's just that when you are in the midst of a losing streak, again, I say it all the time, but it's just another reminder that those emotions that are elicited from watching a game and seeing how a game is won and lost are very real, because things change as games are played. And when you're out to a 17-3 lead and you are obliterating NC State across the board, you're winning the line of scrimmage on defense, you're winning the line of scrimmage on offense. That's what it takes to win football games. You're doing both in the first half, to the tune of you're lamenting a 14-point lead on the road against a top 15 team that's favored over you. That's how good we were playing. That you're on the road up 14 against a team ranked, favored, at home, at night. And you're lamenting that you're only up 14. But what does that do? When you blow it, it leads to that much more in the way of devastation. And I think our fans today are livid. And I got to imagine, Mike said as much in the post game. He did look absolutely like he'd seen a ghost afterwards when he walked out there. I think he thought they were going to win the game. I think he thought that at halftime they were going to win the game. I think he thought in the fourth quarter with that last opportunity, he thought they were going to win the game.
There's a question you asked Jimbo Fisher 11 years ago now. It was the Wake Forest loss off a bye, and that was Trickett starting. They tried to get cute.
Yep.
And
then
then
they brought EJ in.
EJ saved the day, and it was too late. And your question to him was, Coach, I thought we were past this. And his answer was interesting. He said, I thought we were too.
Yeah.
That's the look I saw from Mike in the post game on Saturday. Was I thought we were past this. I wouldn't expect if we're put in 10 to 12 different positions to go make plays and we don't make any of them. I didn't expect that out of this group. That's not how they practice.
No. And I also thought they had enough moments to build to that point. To have confidence to execute. So when I said last segment that, hey, look, what are you afraid of? There are no championship aspirations here. Just go out and take what you've earned, which through hard work and discipline and buy-in, right? I was talking about you've earned the right to think you can go win a game like that, and you're in the position to do so. It's not unlike a DB who's got great coverage. Make a play on the ball. That's your great reward, right? You've put in the hard work. Is staying with the guy. I thought by surviving the LSU game and winning on the road while trailing at halftime with your second-string quarterback against Louisville, that these were moments where your mettle was tested, that your mental fortitude and your physical toughness were tested in these moments where you've got to find a way. And they did. And they did. They found ways to win games. They made a play. They made 2 plays, 3 plays, whatever it might be to get them over the hump. Louisville wasn't gifting that game. You had to make the throw, the catch, the run, everything, right? When you block an extra point, you block an extra point. That is a player making a play. So they had achieved these moments where success happened because of something you did, something you were capable of mentally and physically. I would have thought in this situation you were mature enough and had those tests prior to be able to finish it off. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate the kindness there and the contribution. I just want to say, again, I think this is a hodgepodge of a lot of things. It's not a singular thing. I think fans, whatever strikes your ire in the moment is what you then hyper-focus on for the next 24 to 48 hours. So if you're mad at Mike for whatever, then you're going to be mad at Mike today, and it's going to be amplified because you've had some time to think about it and stew on it. If you're mad at Jordan, you're going to be even angrier at Jordan than you were. I'm slightly perturbed at Jordan. If you're mad at our receivers for having stone hands in the biggest moments, well, you're even madder the more you think about it for 48 hours. And that too has me angry. If you're angry with the officials because of some poor calls or missed calls, you're going to be even angrier after 48 hours to think about it because it all added up to a heartbreaking loss. So you stew on it.
Yeah, the order for that operation for me is receivers, Jordan, Mike, then officials. That's the order of where I'm.
I think I'm with you on that. I think
the receivers take Jordan to a place where he shows it a little bit on the sideline, and you say, "Come on, man."
Yeah, no, his body language was not good.
But it took 6-7 drops for him to get there.
Yeah, it's tough. You just can't do it.
That's learning. That's a part of a process that we don't want to have to go through in a loss. It would be fun to be talking about that today after a win, and you say, "Hey, you know what? By the way, let's get a little bit better over here." And then, I mean, they're in position to make these plays, so I'm not going to put Mike at the top of the list. And some of the calls by the officials were terrible, but I mean, in general, we're in control of that game plenty. even with those bad calls. So I ain't starting with Flanagan. He didn't help matters, but I'm not starting with that crew. So it's receivers, then Jordan, then coach, then the officials. But there is stew for each one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there isn't a reason to be angry with any one of those groups. I mean, you can be. I oddly think we'll be in this game against Clemson on Saturday night. I really do. It does depend. A lot of that belief that I have sitting here today has a lot to do with the resiliency this team has shown before, but it also has a lot to do with the fight that I see them, they always have. That's not something we worry about anymore. So they're going to fight. They're going to show up, and there'll be obviously the emotions and the energy will be high in that stadium. Could be so much better. Today's a day of a lot of lament. You could have won a game, should have won a game, didn't win the game, could have had an even greater sense of urgency coming into this Saturday, the stakes being even higher. All of it could have been right there for the taking. But by losing these last two games, in particular this NC State game, you've really put yourself in a position now where you're just hoping. You're hoping to get a win here, pull an upset. But you are not in a position, it doesn't look like at this point, to really matter in the Atlantic moving forward.
If you subscribe to the theory that they are better as the attackers and not the hunted, well, here's your chance on Saturday. You've got absolutely nothing to lose now.
The number was surprising to see so low. Clearly, Vegas thinks that Florida State's going to show up, play hard at home at night. Crowd will be great. That is an interesting number. If I were just a cold-hearted cynic, I would have leapt at that number the second it posted and said, I'll lay 4 with Clemson, sure.
The hard part is the conversation that Coach Norvell had to have with his players, which is, on the one hand, you deserved to win that game. On the other, you did so many things that there's no way I can say you deserve to win that game. So let's talk about those things and let's get them cleaned up, because next time we're in this position, if that happens again, oh my goodness. I mean, just from the outside now, this is a strike for whoever you want to assign it to. But if this happens again this year where you've got a big lead and you blow it, now you're having different fundamental conversations. But we didn't expect to be up that big before the game kicked off.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can't all at once, for the people, let's say, have a different order than you do. So let's say they start with Mike, which is a sensible place to start if you're just trying to look at the big picture, because you say, well, the coach is the one paid $5 million, so his team's got to be better in these situations, so it's on him, right? All right, fine. But at some point, players have to make a play, especially what I always talk about with coaching is, are you putting your players in a position to succeed? And the ones that are really elite at it, they put their players in the best position to succeed more often than not. Well, guys, if any one of those receivers bother to make a catch, you probably win the game. I mean, you are in a position to succeed. Your offensive game plan amasses you almost 300 yards of offense in the first half against NC State. You are 50% on third down, and that includes drops in the first half. You have a touchdown pass drop. You have a fourth down pass drop. You have all these things that could win you the game. Well, as a coach, if I'm an offensive-minded coach anyhow, and I've put you in a position to win one-on-ones, which is all I can really do. It's tough to scheme up one-on-zeros. So I got you a one-on-one, and you've won. You're open. My quarterback hits you, and you drop it. That ain't on me. For the people that are mad at Mike, that is not on him. Catch the ball. So you can't have it both ways, because I think you have to at least acknowledge that in those situations, the team was coached up well enough to be presented with an opportunity that doesn't get any better than that. It's third down. I hit you right here. That's the right call. How do I know it's the right call? You're open. I hit you. That's a first down. But you dropped it. You dropped it. And the pros, because they're paid handsomely, we all yell out things like, you stupid son of a bitch, catch the ball. In college, you don't do it as much, and you shift the blame back over to the coach. But catch the ball. We're playing big boy football out here now. I mean, catch the ball. That is really aggravating. That's all I'm saying is you can't. I see it both ways. People are, well, Mike didn't do this. Mike didn't do. They're open. Catch the ball.
No, his job this week is to be a psychologist. What is at the root cause of us being in a position to succeed and not getting over the top? And is there any way to simulate that or help that during the week? Because if I can find something, I'm going to do it. If there is no way to help with that during the week, then the next time we're in that position on Saturday, I'll be ready to throw up. And this is Mike talk. I'll be ready to throw up, and I'll hope they make the play.
Yeah. I hope so too. I hope they're in a position to get it. It would be a hell of a way to kind of come out of this little stretch here to shock everybody and get a win like this and end a losing streak against Clemson. And all of a sudden you're 5-2, and you'd say to yourself, well, if you'd told me that was going to be the scenario, that you were going to be in both the games you lost against teams that were better than you and well thought of and have had more success lately, and then you beat a rival, yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that. I still have high hopes. I do think that the entirety of this is going to, again, get back to how healthy this team can get, because, I mean, I brought it up in the first segment. I know we're going to go to break, but the difference between Robert Scott and then anybody else we start at left tackle is pretty sizable. I mean, this game revealed that, most certainly. It's a world of difference there.
And we focused on defensive players, but it's not nothing to be missing Trayshawn Ward, assuming that he's not available. His arm was in a sling after a great run. That's one of his best runs of his career.
Yeah, it stinks.
Just the variety of things he did well on that particular play. But if he's not available for Saturday, that's not nothing.
Oh, he's your between the tackles, he's got the best vision. He'll make you miss up close and personal. Hurts feelings. And I think he's got a better handle on timing with these runs, setting things up. You're not devoid of talent back there when he's out, but I think he's the most complete back you have in this offense. So, yeah, it hurts, man. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A man wanted for fleeing a traffic stop and pointing a gun at a police officer is now in custody. U.S. Marshals took 33-year-old Keith Kinder into custody Friday at the Thomasville Travel Center in Thomasville, Georgia. He faces charges of aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer and resisting arrest with violence. An officer tried to pull over Kinder Monday evening in an area near Key Street and Clark Street after police say he was cutting off multiple cars while riding an electric scooter. Investigators say Kinder refused to stop, pulled a gun, and aimed the weapon at the officer before getting away, while saying he was going to kill law enforcement. Leon County Commission Chairman Bill Proctor and Tallahassee Mayor John Daly voiced their support of Southside septic to sewer improvements within the unincorporated areas of the county. Daly stressed those in the county deserve access to sewer, water, wastewater, basic utilities to all aspects of the urban services boundary. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Now open at their new location on John Knox Road. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 84 this afternoon under clear skies, north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight. Lows dip down to about 61. Highs around 86 tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies. Temps near average Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the low 80s. Storms both days. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 79.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what pulls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Greg Tish here along with
Matty Rowe.
And you can listen to us Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3. Matt, we give away a couple things each week.
Just a few.
We got the Florida Farm Bureau Insurance Wheel of Food. We have Give Me a Second, where we play a second of a song and you guess that song. And we also play FLA or Nay. We have a lot of fun Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on
The Greg Tish Show.
Think that's enough?
We can talk about our feelings.
There's a lot.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road, and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
and he'll now collect a lot of money if he wants to, or he'll forego some of it, I suppose, by taking in another job, which he now will be a premier candidate for in college football, where it seems he belongs. Woo! I missed it.
Marcus chimes in. Thank you, Marcus.
Only fitting that the Noles lose for lack of confidence in a kicker, and the Eagles win due to the same. Go Noles till the dirt. Thank you, Marcus. Appreciate you. I was at a side. Nobody cares. I had a good week. I think I went 7-3, 8-3, whatever I went in Redemption Thursday. Another stellar bounce back for me there. That helped. And I had a real good week in my real life gambling too.
I did too. The big losers for me this weekend were Bama, and which I played after the Max Johnson news came out. I thought, well, that solidifies. I was a little hesitant. Let's play it. And then Mizzou backdoored, unfortunately, on the 11. Mm-hmm. Other than that, though, it was a good weekend. A lot of potato chips.
Yeah, so it's good to bounce back. It's all sullied, though, when the Noles lose, and in your case, the Mets last night with an opportunity. Yeah, you are. That's a bet that you had with Greg Tisch, and you got your Padres gear on, doing what you were supposed to do. That's the right thing. Well, I mean,
would you call for Bucks firing if you were on New York Sports Radio this morning? Because I would.
Well, you would not for the cockamamie nonsense he did last night and trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do. I mean, did he think that Musgrove was cheating? Did he really believe that?
Well,
because of the icy hot on the ears?
Yeah, I've never seen somebody sweat like that on their ears. So either you're an alien or there's something up there, and that's fine. Andrew McCutcheon actually tweeted about it.
Yeah, he had the icy hot. He's always had icy hot on his ears, but that's a known thing.
Correct. It is.
And you're allowed to do it.
It's such small time stuff. It's the end. He's made a bunch of decisions in September.
That's what I was going to say. You've been mad at him late in the year.
But then you're going to show that you've basically conceded the game in the sixth inning. If you're going to try and pull that stunt, pull it in the second inning, not after he shoved for 5.
Yeah, he knew they weren't going to hit him.
Right. So you combine that with his resume of failing in October and the next guy winning the big thing. I'm like, oh, that's why. Because of stuff like this. If I'm in that dugout, I go, what is he doing? What a clown move this is. Anyway.
I think the postseason, obviously it's harder for you when your team gets there and they fall than it is me, but it's been tough. Your best player this entire series was Starling Marte. Their best pitching performance was Joe Musgrove,
who's given up 1 run in his last 29 innings.
I can keep going as I look around baseball and see all these Pirates that were just on the team 2 years ago that we gave away for not much. It's tough.
At least it wasn't a blown save by Diaz, who's been perfect all year last night. At least it was pretty well a good 2.5, 3 hour funeral that you just knew was happening. We're all here. We're gathered here tonight.
Together. Yeah. No, a little frustration, I'm sure. Good on you, Phillies, taking down the best fan base in baseball. Who were swept their ass in their own park. It's beautiful.
Who were leaving in droves at 3-2.
Yeah.
Not 6-2.
Oh, yeah. That 9th inning in that first game was really a joy. I got to watch it on the phone and listen to the Cardinals organization play-by-play in my car because I was driving to the airport to pick up my wife. So I was texting Matthew at the red lights, listening to this go down. I'm watching it on my phone. I'm listening to the Cardinals announcers going, ha, suck it. This is what you guys always do. Find a way to win a game you have no business winning. Everything falls to pieces. Your Gold Glove third baseman can't pick up a baseball. All this stuff is glorious.
Unfortunately, all you and I have this weekend are a deeply unsatisfying victory over the Falcons on Sunday. Other than that, it was a pretty rough weekend.
I'll take it. It was a makeup call for the missed pass interference on the play before.
Yeah.
Now,
well, and then there was a 3-play sequence. The defensive hold on third down is absolutely insane.
So here's the thing that I'll say though, and I think this all the time. And yeah, the Falcons got screwed on the call. That's obvious. I mean, clearly that's not roughing the passer. There's nothing about it that's roughing. It's a terrible call. I don't know what
Falcon crazy.
It's a terrible call. And if I were a Falcons fan, I'd be livid. They're not going anywhere this year anyhow, but they do play hard for that guy. So good for them. And they're pretty resilient. If they had a quarterback, they might be good, but
he's kind of a punk, isn't he?
Yeah. But what I would tell you is it's bad for the NFL, and it's not the first time. It's bad for the NFL when that's the look. And I understand that, the Bucs get the win and I want to win, and that's good. It benefited Tampa Bay. who was up 21-0 and decided to throw the ball on 1st and 2nd down over the next 3 possessions for no effing reason whatsoever. But okay, that's poor coaching to be discussed at a different time. I just, for the life of me, how they don't have behind the scenes meetings with their officials before the year starts about how far we've gone now to protect not just Brady, which they do a lot, but they protect all quarterbacks to the extent that we all as fans hold our breath if there's a sack. Like, I can't watch a game now and my defense gets a sack.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
oh, how many plays in general?
he did hit him kind of hard.
Right.
Think of the FSU game.
Yes.
I mean, oh, he did hit him hard. I'm sure they're frightened to their core about that hit. A big guy hit a little guy, and he went flying. They're going to throw the flag.
I was in a crowd of people for that game, and I saw Boger say to Brady, it's going to be rough in the passer. I go, oh, this is about to get loud in here.
Oh, well, it was hideous. It's a terrible call. Terrible. It's a bad look for the NFL. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
Hey guys, it's Greg Tish. I know it's still warm outside, but Hearth and Patio wants to remind you that the cooler temperatures are coming. They will be here shortly. Now is the time to get those fireplaces inspected, those fireplaces upgraded, or get a new fireplace for inside or for out. Or how about a wonderful fire pit to have out in your backyard where you can enjoy the cooler temperatures when they finally do get here. Yes, they will get here. Call my friends at Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Have them come out, inspect your fireplace, tell you about the upgrades, tell you about all the amazing ways that Hearth and Patio can make you feel comfortable when the cooler temperatures finally get here. That number again, Hearth and Patio, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. They can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry books to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee.
Well, we keep you regular. Well, that's true. But I think Florida's
breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Some U.S. election officials are beefing up security ahead of the midterm.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey,
White House
and we'll keep
correspondent
you
Greg
ready.
Clugston with our anticipating divisive elections. Officials around the country are coordinating more closely with local law enforcement to respond quickly to disturbances. For example, some voters will encounter bulletproof glass and need to press a buzzer to enter polling places. A Reuters survey of 30 election offices in battleground states found that half have enhanced security in various ways, from hiring extra security guards to holding active shooter training. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Also at townhall.com, police say there is no apparent connection between a shooting outside Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin's Long Island home and his bid for New York governor.
Standing outside his home in Shirley last night with his wife and twin 16-year-old daughters, Lee Zeldin said it was a scary situation for the teens.
The two of them were at the kitchen table doing homework, and they hear gunshots.
They called 911 and their parents, who were campaigning. Police say two 17-year-old boys were shot in a drive-by and tried to hide in Zeldin's yard. A third person fled, and the shooting is not connected to the lawmaker.
Their belief is that the answer is no.
Zeldin does say this is an example of out-of-control crime in the state. Julie Walker, New York.
On the international front, Russia has unleashed a lethal barrage of strikes against multiple Ukrainian cities. The attack smashed civilian targets, including downtown Kiev, where at least 6 people were killed amid the burnout cars and shattered buildings. On Wall Street, stocks have turned mixed now. The Dow is up 2 points, but the NASDAQ 67 lower. More at townhall.com.
These are tough times for everyone, so dealing with your timeshare may not be your biggest concern. But when this passes, do you still want a lifetime of payments, fees, and commitments for a timeshare you were misled into buying?
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshares and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. Give my office a call today. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley Financial now for your free information kit. 800-549-8866. That's 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866. Wesley Financial Group is not a law.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator sales, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick, professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Can't get past it. I'm only allowing for this month. Tom, we got to move on after today. No more wallowing in this game after today. It's on to the next. We got to beat Bill Belichick.
So there, NFL teams, pro teams have a 24-hour rule.
Yeah.
You have a Monday rule?
I've got a Monday rule because we have to discuss it. That's when we're on the air. I was able to largely ignore it yesterday. I was able to kind of pay attention to the NFL, watch them try to watch some other items of the day that I might have, fantasy sports, gambling, all that stuff. I could distract myself. But today, got up this morning early, got the coffee going.
Great weather outside.
Perfect weather outside. Actually opened it up, sat on the deck with my laptop, and watched it. Watched it again. I shouldn't have done it. I should have just put it behind me. Should have put it in the rear view and said, guys, I have nothing insightful to say. I think I know what happened. I did do a watch along with Tom there. It was fun, but I couldn't bring myself to watch it again. But I didn't want to do that to people. I wanted to make sure I knew what I was looking at, and I did. I've never seen, I thought about, how in baseball, one of the unique things about baseball, and Tim Kirchin's great at pointing this out, every week there's something that happens in baseball season where you're like, I've never seen that before. I've been watching baseball for 40 plus years and I've never seen that happen before. It could be a weird way in which a triple play was turned. It could be, somebody scores 10 runs in the ninth, to win a game, something weird, right? But that's not true a lot of times in other sports. You have seen teams come back from 30 down in basketball. You have teams, not a lot of things that you're watching where you're like, I've never really seen that. I've never seen somebody called for punting the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. I've never seen it. I thought about it when I watched it again this morning. I went, I've never seen that happen in a football game. Not little kids playing football, not my first year of playing peewee football where maybe the kids don't know the rules and something could get, screwed up. Never seen it. Never saw it in high school. Never seen it in college. Certainly never seen it in the pros. I've never seen it. Period.
Well, congratulations, buddy.
We got to see it
together
from our kicker, from our punter. Mastromanno gave us a moment we had never had. I wonder if anybody's ever seen it. Has it ever happened? I didn't bother to go look that up. Has it ever happened that a punter got called for punting beyond the line of scrimmage? That's really bizarre.
And it took that.
Also, he could have walked to a first down.
It took that, plus a post-whistle penalty, plus the drops, plus 2 ridiculous interceptions, and all of them added up to a 2-point deficit for us in the end. But that's what it took. Nothing short of all of those things had to happen, but they all did.
I've never seen it. I mean, I was mad in the moment, but I've never seen it. Also, again, he could have walked to the first down, and had he done so, you talk about a punch in the gut to NC State. You go from thinking you're about to have a block punt, changing the entire complexion of the game, to look at this headsy son of a gun. Pulled it down and ran for a first down. And now we're still out here and we're tired. Florida State strings together another first down or two. That's your game.
That is an alternate universe that
it should have happened.
Others live in.
There's no other way to look at that. You should have just run for the first down, kid. What are you doing? How could you run? It's like running for 5 minutes and not realizing that you're well beyond where you started. Like, hey, man, you're further on down the road. Surely you're well past the line of scrimmage here. You're practically on their side of the field. What are we doing?
Well, he's assessing how long it is to get to the first down yardage marker, and there is somebody on the left side. I think we're going to block it. I think we're going to block it. But he might say, ooh, that's a long way. I should punt this.
No, run your ass, man. You've already...
Oh, I'm not saying what should have been done. I'm saying that's clearly what he was thinking.
I guess it happened this year. Where the hell? Well, I wasn't watching South Carolina and UCF because that is, good God.
Is that right? 12 yards beyond the line?
12 yards? What? Was this a fearful child? He was that scared of getting hit? He's 12 yards beyond the line. Oh, they're going to hit me. I'm going to punt it. What? I'm going to go back and watch that play. Was it similar? Did a dude just avoid a punt block and sprint down the field?
I think he was trying to leave the program, and he decided he wanted to go out with a bang. Kind of like George Costanza getting fired in epic fashion.
That was something to behold, man. I at least we can laugh about it, I guess. We lost the game for so many reasons. Add that to the coffers. But, Jesus, between the drops and the, all the stuff that frustrated us that we well documented last hour, I forgot to mention that Mastromanno did something that I've never seen. Apparently it's been done this year. I had never seen it before, that somebody punted the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. When we were watching it, I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you were off screen at that time,
Yeah.
which is probably good.
Oh my God, it's very good.
Yeah. Because Aslan and I were on, and he was speculating, what's the ruling? I'm like, well, if it's the same as when a quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage, we got a problem.
We got a real problem. It's their ball right there. By the way, that seems too penal of a rule.
Mm.
We need to go back and revisit that rule. That rule seems absurd to me. We should give it to you down here? No, man. Add 15 yards.
I think
to
if they
the
could
end of
have, Flanagan would have said, all right, so by rule touchdown,
Yeah.
NC State.
The loss of down ball right there nonsense. No, we got to look at that rule. That seems a little bit over the top.
And how about Josh Farmer making a huge play? I know the throw wasn't great on the double pass, but that's the drive where if you don't make that play, and even if it's 2nd and 5 instead of, I think it was 2nd and 9, you don't get them in a 3rd and 40. So that set the tone for it, and you get them in the 3rd and 40, and then they still end up making a kick from Duke's campus.
Yeah. Well, they've got a kicker. Good one. Hey, our guy made one. Let's hope, and he made 2 extra points. Let's really hope that it's what snaps him out of it. He was allowed to leave this game feeling good about himself. After all, he didn't get to miss the final kick of the game, which I think he most assuredly would have. We'll never know. We can yell at each other all we want. Who knows?
But
the point is,
his toe prints are all over it, though, right? The way that game was managed.
Oh, the
towards
way
the
it's
end.
called, the way it's
Yeah.
managed. And again, I think people mistake the throw and the decision by Jordan for a play call that is set in stone. It's not. You have options there. He makes that decision to make that throw. It's not that he has to make that throw. I mean, that's why you put some responsibility on your quarterback, and you have option routes in place. This is a lot to do with what does the safety do? And so it looks to me, it looks to me anyhow, like he chooses to cut in because he thinks the safety's shading over. Now you could say it's because he gets grabbed, but
He gets rerouted.
He gets rerouted.
He has outside leverage, and then the kid does some sort of moonwalk technique that I don't think he's intending to do. Now, the damning quote after the game was over was NC State
knew it.
Had defenders saying
They
they're not going
knew
to trust their kicker.
No,
so
of course they're not
they'll
gonna
sell
trust
out to
their
over the
kicker.
top. But if you look at it, you snap it and you freeze it, and you look at where, he's predetermined, I think, that's where he's going to go with the ball, unfortunately, because Johnny's open underneath on a slam, right by the umpire.
One of the reasons that he may have predetermined that he's going to go with the ball there to begin with is because they scored a touchdown on that play earlier in the game, and that guy in particular, made the catch while so many others couldn't catch the ball.
I agree. The hard part is, and Johnny dropped it on a slant on the 4th down, but he had just come off of making a huge catch on
He had
that
made a big
drive.
play, yeah.
And you could see at the moment he's making the decision, it does look like he's being given the pylon and the far sideline, but then it just changes as he's throwing the ball. There's contact, and then the ball's up there for 3 light years, so the kid can run underneath it too.
Oh yeah, no, it's bad all the way around. If Mike had played for the field goal, despite everything that's happened this year with our kicker, and he went out there and missed the kick, Mike would be getting killed today. If you score the touchdown there, we're talking about, the guts that it takes to do all of that. I get it. We play results all the time. Nameless, I just checked here. You wrote, Jeff, that's BS. He would have made it. Come on, man. How could you possibly think he would have made it? Because he made one earlier in the game?
Because he made a low leverage kick before the half.
He made a really low leverage kick with nothing on the line before the half. Hasn't made a thing all year. Has been awful. Has been dreadful. Has missed an extra point. Has had some misses where he's not even on the reservation. There's no reason to believe he would have made that. He might have. We'll never know. So this is a pointless debate. But to dismiss it and say he would have made it. Psh.
Yeah, what's the likelihood? What's the greater likelihood? We all know what that is. And somebody asked the question immediately after, would you have been more mad if he played for the field goal or in this outcome? I'd be more mad if they played for the field goal.
Yeah, you don't play for the field goal there. You have enough time plus your timeouts. You have your timeouts. That's the other part of this. You also have a quarterback you trust. You also are you're in a position where there's no reason to play for the field goal here. You can score. You've got enough time. I understand you don't want to do anything irrational or hurried.
Right. And if you've got to kick it, you got to kick it. If it's 4th and 11 or
no,
whatever.
If you throw the ball and it's incomplete, and then you run a play and it's incomplete, and the next thing you know, it's 4th down, you got to kick your field goal from there, you do it. But you play to score the touchdown there.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. That's what they were doing too. And NC State was calling their timeouts because they were concerned that they wanted either way, you could burn their assets there. You've got short options on that play. he chose
a
tough route. The road not taken. And it made all the difference.
But again, to be honest with you, Robert Frost, I would just tell you that that you have to make all of those catches preceding that. If you do, we're not having any of these conversations.
No, the watch-along is a coronation for the second half.
At that point, Florida State runs away with the game. There are a lot of little things that line up in succession to nitpick, whether it's a play call, whether it's a decision, whether it is an adjustment not made, whatever you want to do, all rendered moot. This is why coaches always do this. It's deflection a lot of times, and I hate it when they do this. If it were a pattern, then I would really get on our coach if he did it, or any coach for that matter. But when games go south and the coach gets second guessed, this is the National Football League, this is college, this is high school, it doesn't matter. They tend to bring up, in their defense, they tend to bring up execution. Well, we had some things we left out there. If we had executed here, executed there, it's never about one play or one decision. A lot of times that's deflection because somebody does something asinine, like, say, Denver's coach every week does something stupid, and then he could say, well, we didn't execute the way we wanted to, and that's why we had to kick a 60-whatever-yard field goal. Okay, that's one way to look at it. That's one way to answer the question. Also, I'd like to talk about your thought process there. But in this case, I think it's true. In this case, if you make those catches, you're probably running away with the game. Running away with it. I mean, at 17-3, at 21-3, is NC State, are they done? Given their offense, given the impotence we had seen from their offense.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that was some of the, again, on the fly in the second half, 17-10, or even if it's 17-13 and we've got the ball, I'm thinking you score one time.
One touchdown.
It felt that way.
It felt like you were one touchdown away from a knockout blow, and you never got it. I mean, hell, it was hard enough to get a first down, let alone a touchdown. Again, we bring up the numbers. They're staggering. It's a toughie.
And I don't know what Mike's protocol is behind the scenes, like Jimbo's was with sports psych and things like that. But I would imagine that part of the conversation after that game and before they get into too much practice this week is, did you see any signs of worry in anybody's faces? Maybe go to the position coaches and you say, what are the signs that we've got some issues with composure?
You mean in game?
I'm saying after the game's over, he says, did you see anything?
Yeah.
Because we now have to be prepared for this. He didn't think that they would do this.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that for the reason that I think you're starting to shine a bright light on a negative. I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to resolve a problem.
With the coaching staff. You don't tell the players.
Right.
You and your staff say, hey, if there are signs of trouble, I want to know about it, because who saw this coming? These kids have been nails.
Yeah, I don't want to say that. I mean, Mike brought up the word press. He brought it up afterwards. So that's why it's fair game to talk about. I'm not suggesting it. In fact,
after Wake, yeah.
I normally, by the way, dismiss those things. Those are offhanded remarks made to put a label on something you can't figure out as to why it happened. So you'll hear people say momentum, or you'll hear people say rhythm, or you'll hear people say that somebody pressed or they got whatever. I think more often than not always, but more often than not, I think it's that, look, man, dude just dropped the ball, lost concentration. I don't think he was scared of the moment. I don't think on 4th and 3, when he hit Johnny Wilson in the hands, he dropped it because he was pressing. He just dropped the damn ball. He has a problem with drops. He dropped it. Bad time to drop the pass.
As the game goes on, though, you don't think that these things kind of materialize
there's
because
a
of a greater
level
sense
of anxiety.
Yeah.
There's a heightened level of anxiety when the situation is football, though, really, other than a quarterback to some degree, football really helps you out in stressful moments because it's such a team game, and the success of a play is dependent on 11 different guys doing their job, right? So if let's say you're a right tackle, okay, and this, whatever the play call is, you're down 4 with 3 to play, and you have the ball on your own 15. So this is it. You got to go down and score a touchdown. Field goal is not going to do it. You know that going onto the field. You recognize, well, this is it. This is probably going to be the last time we get the ball. The second the quarterback tells you the play, your only thought is what are your keys? What are you looking at? Like, so we're going to get lined up. Whoever has the job of the call for the mic, that'd be the center or the quarterback, depending. Okay, so let's say the center yells out who the mic is. Now I know who I block here. I'm not thinking about time and score at that point. I'm thinking about who I'm blocking. From there, now you're going to listen to your quarterback who may opt into something else. So I've got to be paying close attention to what he now does in terms of protection and whatever else he's going to call out. But there's a lot happening, and it all gets back to what's my job on this play. I don't have time to think about the consequences of not scoring on this drive, which is the bigger picture that would cause nerves. Quarterbacks do to some extent, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you say a receiver looks the ball's in the air and, I got to catch this.
But I think that you could see on some of their faces that maybe the weight of what was happening in slow motion for the better part of 2 hours was.
I think
they knew what was happening.
I think the weight of not executing time and again, and then not having the ball. They had the ball for 9 minutes and 15 seconds in the second half. So that's not a lot. And that's what happens when you go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. That's frustration. I don't know if that's pressing. That's frustration. That's aggravation. That's angst. I don't know if it's like, oh my God, we're going to lose. I don't think they're going through that.
No, but what's on the other side of that aggravation? For example, if you're shooting a good round on a course, and again, it's one mind.
But that's an individual sport.
Yeah, but if I'm an individual who's trying to make up for my guys screwing up, I'm saying, F this, I'm going to make this play now. And now you're not thinking about going through your process and putting yourself in position to succeed. You're thinking about F this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, but the best way
in spite of them.
Well, but I think the best way to do that, especially on offense, is to be where you're supposed to be on that play. I don't know that defensive players, linebackers and such might come out of their rules, their assignment, their fit, if they feel like, I know where this play is going. I'm jumping this route. He's done this 6 times in a row in this formation. I'm going to take a risk because we need to make a play. I'm going to jump this. You might do that. You don't see it a lot with a lot of other players.
Here's what I'm picturing in my mind as I'm making the point that I'm making. Is the interaction between Coach Norvell and Jordan Travis after his first interception on the sideline.
Which today he mentioned was a really good defensive call for the call that they had on.
It was. But I'm talking about, you see an expression on a player's face as a coach is trying to counsel him.
Yeah.
And Norvell said that today, that, look, I coach differently on Saturdays. On Saturdays, it's about
communication.
Right. It's not about being combative and ratcheting up the energy. It's about communication level on game day. That's what it's all about. And you saw some back and forth, and that's the second week in a row, because against Wake Forest, they weren't on the same page either. When they were going through those empty possessions in the first half, they had cut to it on the TV broadcast where Mike is saying, what did you see? And they clearly don't like the other's answers back and forth. There is a miscommunication about what they're seeing on the field, and there's an expectation that's not being met either way. Fair. That's going to happen between an offensive coordinator and a quarterback. And I get Mike's the head coach, but we all know Mike's calling the plays as well. And so it's important that they're on the same page. Jimbo was the same way. You see it again this week, and they stuck with Jordan because they were reviewing post-whistle penalties on Pittman and other things.
Jordan looked disgusted and frustrated.
And they stuck with him on that shot. That's interesting to me. And that's what I'm picturing in my mind when I say somebody's pressing and they're doing things for the wrong reasons rather than being where their feet are.
Yeah, maybe with quarterback you can make that argument. I don't think you really can with other positions on the offensive side of the ball. A running back doesn't come outside the play. He doesn't be like, well, this play calls for me to go to the right. I'm going to run left.
Unless you're Leonard Fournette on 4th and 1 yesterday. I mean.
Yeah, Oh, now, if you're talking about a habit of bouncing and not wanting to take contact, that's a different thing. That's a physical thing.
Wilder did that against Virginia Tech in 12.
It saved our ass.
Well, it worked.
Because he dragged
somebody. And he scores.
Yeah, but he dragged somebody's ass. We'll get another opinion on this here in a moment. Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com, going to join us in a moment. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
For many in the workforce, their goal is to climb the company ladder. Often the climb requires a move to another city, and that's especially true in our industry. I'm Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. If you rise the ranks of our competitors, there's a good chance moving up means moving away. Why? Because they're not local companies. They're from places like Orlando, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and even Europe. That's certainly not the case with our employees. We're a company that was founded in the Big Bend and remains locally owned. When Paul's Termite and Pest Control employees advance, they remain in the Tallahassee area. Don't trust the safety of your family and pets from disease-carrying pests or the structure of your biggest investment from termites to people who may be here today and gone tomorrow. Trust Paul's Termite and Pest Control, a company that has serviced thousands of our neighbors right here for over 50 years. Being local really does matter in our industry because local problems require local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control are the Big Bend's local experts for the elimination of termites or any other pest, and a greener lawn too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future. Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced, and while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and thank me later. If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a hometown hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all hometown heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146. If you're a business owner of any kind, you need advanced fire protection services. We are AFPS, and we provide high-quality life safety services throughout Northwest Florida, and we've been doing it since 1989, with offices now in Tallahassee. Fire sprinklers, fire alarms, fire extinguishers, hood suppression systems, and emergency exit lights. For all of your life safety equipment, we've got you covered 24/7. We are Advanced Fire Protection Services. For a free life safety system evaluation, visit WeSaveLives.com. That's WeSaveLives.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cam Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Warchant TV. I'll be chatting. Oh, hey now. Hey, whoa. Robert, thank you. Reflection Monday. My place of choice to reflect on was McLean's drop. That's game over. Anyway, season going about as planned or slightly better. Yeah. I think so. I think that's a fair assessment. JC writes, at times you guys feel like it should be JT should be selfish and take the game into his own hands and run the ball no matter what the play is being called. Well, It depends on when you're talking about, JC. They had a lot of things there in the first half. They could have scored a lot more than 17 points in said half, and that was in large part due to the fact that in the run game they had it blocked up. They could have had so many more explosive plays there, in particular twice on a counter. And then they did have an outside zone where you get Benson tripped up, just kind of like a desperate reach out there, and he falls. I need him to be stronger in that situation. I think he's got to be. So, if your game plan is being implemented and it's working, then no, I don't suggest you do something outside the play design. I think he can call his own number on zone read and that kind of stuff. Read option. He can. And he did when the time was right. Busted a long one. I thought he was fine. There have been some moments this year where he had a run pass option and chose to give when I thought he should have kept. But that's a math equation most of the time.
The other one was a question too about, do you think that they're slightly ahead or right on schedule so far? I'd say slightly ahead given the amount of injuries, that they're still this good at times. I wouldn't have said that was possible.
Where they are is still in a position to achieve all of our I think highest expectations or lofty expectations. I suppose if you told me before the season through 6 games they'd be 4-2, I'd say that'd be fine. That'd be fine.
With Bless Harris, Robert Scott out for a game and a half.
No, I think I'd be all right with that. That's why, obviously you're not hitting the panic button. But when you lose a game that you have pretty well wrangled, and for the reasons that they did, it's really hard not to get frustrated there. Let's go talk to Ira. Ira Schoffel, Warchant.com. How are you, brother?
I'm great, Jeff. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. This is the first loss Florida State's had in a while where it kind of stayed with me longer than it normally does. I'm usually pretty good at processing that, and for the purposes of this job, not unlike what you do, Ira, obviously, when you have to write your 3-2-1 and we all go back and we watch certain aspects of the game, if not the entirety of the game, to see what we thought we saw and to ensure that that was accurate. Usually from that point forward, I can let it go and move on. But today driving in, I'm still hurting, man. The fan in me is still hurting. That's a tough one to take because there's a lot of blame to go around to a lot of different people and things. I am curious, Ira, referencing your 3-2-1 column, I am curious, why is it that you think that this team is not able to play with a fearless spirit, as I think is the way you described it, if I remember reading that right? Like, what do you think is going on there?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough to write about. These last 2 weeks have been really tough to write about because usually when you have mistakes, and the reason you're mad about that game is because that's a game Florida State lost. NC State didn't win it. And so that's frustrating because you went to a top 15 team on the road and they didn't even beat you. You beat yourself. That's frustrating. And so I get it. But usually when you have mistakes where a team beats themselves, it's like one guy here or that guy there. It's like they're individual plays. But what's been really difficult to kind of get my mind around is it's a macro discussion because it's happening in so many different places. And I thought, Alex Atkins talked about it today, and I thought he had a really good response. He said, look, we're in this journey where a year ago, a year and a half, or 2 years ago, we couldn't compete. Then last year, it's like, okay, we can compete and we can beat some bad teams. And we proved that early this year. Now can we go beat some good teams? And to do that, you have to execute and perform at a high level in those really important moments. And that's where this team has failed the last couple of weeks. They just have not been able to execute in those big moments, those crucial moments. And Alex Atkins said he thinks it's a learned behavior. I believe that's true. I think some guys just have it. They're preternaturally born with it. But I think a lot of guys, it becomes a learned behavior, especially for a program. And I just think they have to get through that. I don't know when it's going to come, though, but it needs to happen pretty soon.
When Mike Norvell said after the game that the outcome was 100% on him, do you think he believes that's true?
I think to a degree. Look, I think he watch the way he talks about his team. He is going to internalize everything. He's one of those guys that thinks he should have coached around. Even if a guy should have done the job better, he should have coached him. He should have coached around it. Like I think, and this is just me guessing. I think when he looks at that last play and the interception from Jordan Travis, look, Jordan Travis can't make that throw in that situation. There's a lot of things he can do there. He could look for a check down. He could run it. He could throw it away. He just cannot throw that ball unless he's 100% sure it's open, because when a field goal could win the game. But I wonder if Mike Norvell says to himself, you know what? Jordan hasn't been in enough of those moments, in enough big games, in enough environments like this. I shouldn't have given him a play where that was even an option. Like, I should have simplified it for him to where I'm not asking him to make that decision. Now, is that fair, or is that realistic? I mean, you're a college quarterback. You need to be able to make that decision. But that's what I think. I think when he sees somebody not do well, I think he thinks, I need to do a better job of protecting him in that situation. And so for that reason, I think he believes what he says, but I don't know that it's necessarily 100% the right way to look at it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think you just described it aptly. I think that's right. Because if you're a coach, ultimately, responsibility falls at your feet no matter what happens. So is it Norvell's fault that he schemed open a bunch of one-on-ones and they were there and guys couldn't catch a ball? No. But coach is going to take blame for that, just like he's going to take blame for Jordan Travis making a terrible decision, and not his only terrible decision of the night, because he's probably thinking, in that situation, I have to tell him it's our guy or nobody. Let's not, there's no doubt here when you let this go. It's our guy or nobody. And if it's not 100% there, we've got our timeouts and we've got enough time that you can take off, or you can fire it at the feet of somebody if you just don't see it. Live to fight another day. Maybe he doesn't feel like he emphasized it enough. But I would ask you this, and I am curious your thoughts on why they looked like two different teams. NC State in the second half dared Florida State to throw the ball because they were tired of getting beat on the ground. And they should have been beat a lot worse on the ground, even though they gave up 294 yards in the first half to NC State's defense. But they decided, we're going to run blitz. We're going to do whatever we have to do to stack. You're not running the ball on first down and having success. You're going to throw with negative leverage. Do you think that they were slow in recognizing that and adjusting to it? Or do you think that he coached scared? I'm kind of curious. I've heard it all from our fans, so I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know that they coached scared. And they talked about it today. Alex Ackett and Mike Norvell talked about it today that NC State definitely did some things to, change some things in the pre-snap reads and what they were doing that kind of affected what Jordan could see, and it limited their ability to check into a better place. So I think there was part of it was that. But man, this is probably overly simplistic, but I said to myself at halftime, NC State's going to come out and try to be bullies in the second half. That's their only chance. And they don't have a quarterback that can make plays. They don't have a receiver that can make plays, receivers that can make plays. They're going to have to come out and be more physical and just try to kick Florida State's butt physically. And I thought they did that. In the second half, they come out that first drive, the way that running back ran in the second half, and Florida State did not respond. And I think some of the drop passes, at least one, maybe two of them, looked like guys that were concerned about getting hit. And I'm not saying that this is not a tough team. I think it has been a tough team. But NC State, I thought, raised their physicality in the second half, and I just don't think Florida State responded to it. So to me, I'm going to put it on that as much as anything else.
Well, if they're to have any chance whatsoever against Clemson, they're going to have to be healthy. Where do we stand on the myriad players falling to the turf in this game, and seemingly every effing week with 7-8 guys writhing in pain after every play? What is the status on some of the more notable guys that we're hoping to have back? Like, let's say Fabian Lovett with Winston Wright. Is he close? Name your guys. We got a litany of a long list of guys.
I thought, at the game on Saturday, Fabian Lovett was out there walking around without a boot. He looked like he was getting over. I think I saw him jogging at one point. So I think that's all really positive. He has been out for a month now. So you'd like to think he's going to be close to getting back. That would be huge because you lost Robert Cooper in that game as well. And you're really thin. When we asked, I think Corey asked Adam Fuller today about the defensive tackles, and he basically said, well, we'll have somebody out there. And so that didn't sound super encouraging about your first string guys or maybe even your second string guys. So he went quickly to Dennis Briggs, who now has moved back inside the defensive tackle, and some of the younger guys, Josh Farmer and those guys, defensive tackle. Trayshawn Ward, the running back, obviously leading rusher, went out with the game. Mike Norvell was non-committal about how he is this week. And then Trayshawn Ward put a photo on Instagram of him in a hospital room. So that probably doesn't bode well for him playing this weekend.
No.
And then, they've still got other guys that are banged up. I think Winston Wright will play soon. But, look, if I'm the training staff or the coaching staff and I say, well, you got Clemson, then you have a bye week, does it make more sense to wait till after the bye week to bring a guy back who hasn't played all year? Probably so. But I do think he'll play in the next few weeks.
It's an interesting time for this team. And we know that all of the good feelings that were engendered by the 4 straight wins have begun to wane. You can hear it, I know, on our message boards on warchant.com and on social media outlets everywhere. The fans are growing restless, Ira. But I can't imagine that they're going to feel much better after this weekend. Do you think it's a close game?
I do, man, just because I don't think, Clemson's offense is not very good. They have not been very good, and this is going to be a tough place for them to play. They haven't played in an environment like that this season, and he's obviously had his ups and downs at quarterback. So I can't see Clemson running away with it unless Florida State just self-destructs, and I don't expect that to happen. So I do think it's going to be a good game. Maybe, again, and I just kind of hypothesized it in my column, maybe this brings that back out of them, the energy they played with against LSU. Just kind of, again, playing like their backs against the wall, like they have nothing to lose. I think that's when this team has played better. And they need to learn how to play better in those other situations. But I think it might bring the best of them. I think it's going to be a good game. But ultimately, yeah, you're right. At some point, if you're so limited physically, it may not matter how much fight you have.
Always appreciate it, brother. Be well. I'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Jeff. See you, man.
All right, take care. Ira Schoffel, warchant.com. We'll be together tomorrow for Seminole Headlines. Look forward to it. And I'm curious to see just how healthy Florida State can get for this game. It really does change everything about your expectations. And not just for this game, but for the season. Because it's unrealistic to expect Florida State to get wins against teams that, if we're to measure the totality of the roster, have better players if all your good players aren't healthy. Now, certainly all is a bit much on my part, but if you don't have Fabian Lovett back for this, and the guys that have had to replace Fabian Lovett are a notch below what he is, and now some of them are hurt, well, then you got a real problem. I mean, you're just not going to be able to compete. And I'd like to believe if they are healthy and Lovett is back, and you get guys getting stronger, not just being back and capable of going, but getting stronger and feeling better, then yeah, man, you could compete in this game, because I do think you could limit Clemson's offense to a point where you're in the game in the second half, and then you've got a couple of guys you need to make plays. Can't drop passes. I'll tell you that.
No.
Can't do that. Every one of these plays that are there to be made have to be made if you're going to pull the upset. That's typically the case in any upset. Is plays are made, a lot of times spectacular plays, but certainly the mundane run-of-the-mill play that you have to make to move the chains and possess the ball and at the very least flip field position. Those plays definitely have to be made. It's Jeff Cameron, Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Tallahassee police say a person was injured in an incident involving a weapon near Jack McLean Park Thursday night. The incident happened around 8:50 p.m. on the 2900 block of Garfield Street. One person was injured and transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Details are scarce. The TBD says the victim was injured by someone with a weapon, but that it was not a gun. The victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No arrests have been made, and officers are currently looking for a possible suspect. The victim and the suspect knew each other. No further information has been released. Residents were allowed to return to a coastal island that was decimated by Hurricane Ian on Saturday, with a warning from the governor that disaster isn't over. Many of the homes still standing on Estero Island lack basic services, so portable restrooms, hand washing stations, shower trailers, and other essentials were trucked in for residents who want to stay. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Now open at their new location on John Knox Road. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 84 this afternoon under clear skies, north winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight. Lows dip down to about 61. Highs around 86 tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies. Temps near average Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the low 80s. Storms both days. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 83.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings 580-6400 or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what pulls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true. But I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, Greg?
You know all the different ways that you can listen to Real Talk 93.3?
There are several.
So we've got realtalk93.com. You can go back and listen to all of our shows in the podcast section.
That's right. You can also listen on our app as well.
Search Real Talk 93.3 and look for the red microphone and download our app. Never go anywhere without us.
And of course, you can always listen right on the radio.
Well, they are listening.
Are they?
If they're hearing this commercial, then they're listening.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Things we learned is always fun, and it's a weighty one this week. It's definitely an interesting one this week as we go through and look at all the different reasons that Florida State lost. Something he did, though, that I didn't get a chance to mention in terms of the impressive outings. Because we lost, you didn't get, and you mentioned this in hour number one, the opportunity to really brag on Patrick Payton or even Joshua Farmer. Also, Tatum Bethune had 14 tackles, 2.5 of those for loss, and he was everywhere, including making a big tackle late.
He did, and even DJ Lundy made a couple of big plays in this game, run stuffs, when you had to have them in some of those formative moments. There are a lot of dudes that you should be able to talk about and really, just with pride, thump your chest for them and say, good job, guys. Now we feel great about the Clemson matchup because the defense has performed well against Wake Forest. They shut down NC State. And, you don't like to split those games, but here we go. We still got a chance in the Atlantic, and all of our goals that we didn't even expect to be in front of us are in front of us, and you can't.
I'd like to see them get a lot more aggressive throwing the ball on first down. I think they're going to have to. Teams are going to try to take away the run game. It's the bread and butter for Florida State. We know this. If you go back, let's see, let me pull this up by quarter. So, you go back through and you look at what ended up happening for the drives for Florida State. We're no huddle shotgun in the third quarter. Toafili rush left 4 yards, 4-yard loss to start. So that's right off the bat. We're running the ball. It doesn't work. Now we got to throw 2nd and 14. Not ideal. The next time we get the ball, we're in the shotgun again. Jordan does take off, gets 14 yards. We give the ball to Benson on first down on the next play. He gets 2 yards. Then we're throwing 2nd and long. And again, that's not a throw on first down. The play before it, I'd like to. It worked 14 yards for Jordan Travis. That's great. I'd like to see us throw on even downs where we have an opportunity, meaning balance in those situations. Next time we have the ball, let's go back through here. This is okay. We throw a quick pass short left to Ontario Wilson for 1 yard. Then we're in no huddle and we run up the middle and we lose yard. It is now 3rd down and more than 10.
Is that the Marquiston drop?
Yeah, that's
on the roll, right?
That's a toughie. Yes. Oh, I'm so mad about that. Go back through. I forgot about the Marquiston drop. That's a good play by
that's a physical
all-world player.
If you're looking at that catch versus potential catch versus some of the other drops, I think that's the highest degree of difficulty. Maybe
just because the guy made a play on the ball,
right,
as opposed to you just dropped it.
Right. that would be the first third down of the second half. The roll right to Johnny, which is here.
Oh,
And
buddy.
The other killer is, and I said this during the broadcast, and I get it. The first goal of fourth down is to move the sticks and get a first down. And Jordan's throw to Johnny on the fourth down drop is more than accurate enough to achieve a first down.
Yes, it is.
But if it's actually a really good throw,
He probably still
he
running.
will score. He will score.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be a really good throw there. It just has to be good enough to convert, and it is, and he drops it. And it's not the only one. That's the one that you just referenced there that hits him right. I don't know. Did he lose it in the lights? I mean, it's nuts. Those are two really critical drops. And then, of course, Malik McClain turns the wrong way. If he turns the correct way, it's a catch and a touchdown. It still should have been a catch. But
It was at that point I felt much better about Jordan after the first little while of the game. I said, oh, well.
That's in there.
Looks like he's back.
Yeah.
But now you've got to worry about that moving forward. It's not just against the best defense you're going to see, unfortunately, which comes to town this weekend. That's the best defense in the schedule. But now you've got two separate games in which you're worrying, is Jordan streaky? Or is this just an aberration and he's going to be that consistent player that we saw for the first 4 games?
Well, we certainly know those numbers are hindered by all of the drops. Those numbers look pretty good, even if half those catches are made, including probably another touchdown on the ledger. But his play has been uneven, and that is fair to say as well, even incorporating all of those drops.
Well, that first interception is also after a kick out of bounds. The first time you get good field position in a while, you're on the 35, and then I get it. Sometimes a defense calls a coverage or a run blitz. Or
it was the perfect call
right
at
into the teeth of something that you're running.
Throw it into the stands.
Right.
You're out of the pocket. What are you doing? That's just a poor decision.
Well, he's moving backwards because he's worried about pressure coming. So he's throwing off of his back foot. Yeah.
Throw it away. Play is blown up. They won this one. Second down. Let's go. That's the hardest thing. And I get you want to make a play and you're frustrated and all that, but man,
that's what you got to flush. That's the lesson, though. I get you're frustrated. So what? It can't affect you on this throw, dude. It cannot. And that's part of the growth that we're all having to go through. You wish that we didn't have to go through it after a loss. But this kid is transformed from a runner who can sometimes throw
to a thrower who you want to run more.
Right. And also, he needs to learn how to deal with those situations because it hadn't been since high school. And maybe not even then. You're already preternaturally gifted compared to your competition most weeks. These are lessons that we know about quarterback play, but he might be finding out because for the first time in a long time, he's a quarterback.
Well, I know that he was great in the spring, great in fall practice at encouraging teammates after bad moments. We brought up an example to give you context. Michael Pittman had a bad day at practice, dropped several passes, one of which finally got the best of Micah. And he came to the sideline, heaved his helmet up against the wall, and uttered some things I can't repeat here, as one does when they're frustrated. And Jordan came over out of the drill just to say, hey, don't worry about it. Flush it. Let's move on. I'm going to come right back to you. And I thought, the growth, the maturity that we're seeing from him, this will pay dividends. That would have been the time for it to be on display in this game. And I think on the heels of the Wake loss, where some things didn't go right on 5 consecutive possessions that we talked about, really 6 because you have a missed field goal in there. It's just starting to mount now because everything was humming for a long time. And in the first half of this game, again, you're moving the ball. You're doing a lot of things very well, but there were moments where you could have capitalized to have an even bigger lead. He carries that over. NC State comes down. It's incumbent upon this offense to retort. Oh, I see that you've made some adjustments. Fine. You don't on the first drive. Fine. You don't on the next drive. Okay, let's get it together. Now we know they are selling out to stop the run. All right, they're begging us to pass. Going to be a good time here. Let's go. Let's throw the football. And then you have some drops and you have some mistakes and you have a penalty that really kills you. So at that point, it got the best of him. But he is the unquestioned leader of this team, so that can't happen. And I hope that conversation has occurred. That can't happen. Your body language, the way you respond to questions, the way you look at your teammates and your coaches, that is all being watched by every one of these guys, and it's certainly watched by players after the game when they go back and see the film.
Yes. Oh, sure. Or you're just rewatching the game because ESPN or the ACC network, rather, they captured that moment after the first interception. So, yeah, it's part of the growth. Is he a perfect player? We never thought he was, but he got really advanced really fast from preseason expectations through the LSU game. You're saying, oh, well, if that's who you are, then we can have a whole new conversation. But there's something in the middle that's true, is that you don't just go from one to the other overnight. You've got to learn some lessons along the way. And unfortunately, those lessons were among the reasons that we didn't come away with a win on Saturday. But you hope the lessons are learned. Look, the offensive line did much better with all the multiplicity of what NC State brings to the table. I know the second half didn't go as well in terms of establishing the run. You only had about 4 cracks at it on first down, 5 cracks at it. But in the first half, they handled that much better. Wake taught them lessons, and Alex Atkins was going over it in his Monday press conference a week ago saying, they got to be better prepared, and I've got to do a better job of that. Well, they did. So hopefully Jordan can learn in the same way, a lesson where you say, oh, you know how to handle this now, and you're not going to flip out on us. Great.
I'll give you a sneak peek of the probables for tomorrow's action. I'm so happy to be able to preview a Phillies game. They're still alive because it just means that the Cardinals are gone. Yes, I love Matthew, and I'm happy his team moved on, but I'm probably gaining more satisfaction from the Cardinals getting swept at home.
Yeah, I agree. This is qualified Phillies love. It's qualified.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Rays get swept. They're gone. Your Mets gone. Come on, Phillies. Get it done. Although, if I go to the other side, I would say I could pull hard for Seattle. Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, it's an easy team.
Having fun. And it's an easy team to root for. Our thanks to Tallulah. Stop by one of their 3 locations in town. Soon I will be floating. And if you want to float, it's just $50 over at Railroad Square. Maybe we all should float after that last game. We need some floating. Need some Delta 8. Need some good juice. Natural pain management. Tallulah's got it all and more right there at your fingertips. Good times. Good sleep, too. Are we done? We're done? That's it. I got to go. Bye. No probables, I guess. Peace.